Hey guys, Super Rugby Pacific Round 10 is coming up this weekend. In this video, I will be previewing all of the matchups, taking a look at the team sheets, seeing which players are in, which players are out, as well as making some predictions about how I think these games will play out and what the final scores might be. Coming up first, we have Crusaders versus the Blues. Not at Eden Park, I believe this one is in Christchurch, home game for the Crusaders. We already had this matchup earlier this year at Eden Park where the Crusaders were able to put a pretty decent score against the Blues. Looking at the team sheets though, for the Crusaders, things are looking virtually at full strength here. A couple of changes from last week. Cody Taylor gets the start. Moananu goes to the bench after that huge game he had against the Canes last week. Not much else changes. Antonio Shofun comes back into the locks. For the Blues, a few changes here. Big news is probably that Zahn Sullivan is back. He's had a long injury layoff. He's finally back. He gets the start at 15. We've also had Caleb Clark removed from the 23 as well. That means Mark Talea moves to 11. Cole Forbes comes in at 14. Probably the most interesting thing about this Blues lineup though is that we actually have a 6-2 split. If you look at the bench here, two back rowers on the bench, Cam Suafoa and Adrian Choate. So the Blues, it looks like they're really going to try and bring it up front. That is no secret. We know how the Blues want to play, even though it hasn't worked that well this year. But we haven't seen a 6-2 split from him this year at all. So yeah, this sends a real signal. I think they're going to try and just take it up the guts. We saw Moana against the Crusaders. They really targeted the front door against them. That was the key to getting that upset. So maybe Vern Cotter's looked at that. He wants to try it on himself. But yeah, look, I don't think it's going to be that easy. I mean, Crusaders, they would have sort of looked at that after that loss to the Moana, and with the Blues, I mean, they know what's coming, and the Crusaders, they're looking so good at the moment. They had that huge win against the Canes last week. I mean, if you look at the scoreline, it was kind of close, but really it was a bit of a domination from the Crusaders up until the referee sort of almost handed it to the Canes on the platter by taking the Satyrs down to 13 men. So we've also seen the Satyrs handle the Blues before at Eden Park earlier in the year. I will say though, that game at Eden Park, the Blues, they were sort of down to their third and fourth string hookers, which really did cost them. They really bumbled a lot at set piece time at that line out, and I think that really just made the scoreline worse for them. They have both Rika Riccatelli and Kurt Eklund back for this game, so I do expect this matchup will be a bit closer. I also expect that it's probably just going to be a really grinding forwards battle. There's a decent chance of rain in Christchurch on Friday as well, and if that comes true, if it is quite wet, then yeah, that just reinforces that it's going to be a grinding forward battle. Still though, hard to not give it to the Crusaders at home based on how these games have been going for both these teams this season. Depending on how wet it is though, probably not going to be a lot of points in it. I'd say if it is wet, it'll probably be a one-score game, but I'll give it to the Crusaders by 7 points. Next game after that is on the Saturday afternoon, and it will be the Ndrua versus the Waratahs in Fiji though, in Lautoka. Also, there is a decent chance of a bit of weather this game as well. Could be a bit drizzly, definitely going to be humid, going to be greasy conditions there. And looking at the teams list for the Ndrua, bit of shuffling around between starters on the bench, particularly in the front row and the back row. Caleb Muntz is also out, got injured last week against the Highlanders. Also no Ravu Talmunda. Votha out as well in the locks. For the Tars, probably biggest news is that Angus Bell is out. He's been replaced by Isaac Kailea. Rob Leota's out as well. Charlie Gamble's back in, and Leafi Talatayana gets the start at number 8. This backline is actually completely unchanged. Same backline that upset the Chiefs last week. And for how this game's going to play out, honestly, this is probably the most unpredictable game for me this week. I mean, you got two teams here that tend to only perform at home, especially in the case of the Waratahs. They've had some big upsets at home, but on the road, they've been quite weak. For the Ndrua, I mean, they've been kind of weak on the road and at home as well, to be honest, but they haven't played a lot of the games at home this year, and they have had tough matchups, and they did get that big upset against the Chiefs earlier in the season, albeit in pretty atrocious wet conditions. So yeah, it's kind of hard to evaluate how these teams are going to turn up for this matchup. I do think the Ndrua, they will be better this game because, yeah, Waratahs, they're probably not the strongest opposition away from home, but the Ndrua, they really do struggle to control games, and quite often they can just become really open. And when the Waratahs have got guys like Suali'i, that can make things quite dangerous. And with the Waratahs, I mean, they look so good in that game against the Chiefs, both on attack and on defense as well. If they can back that performance up, if they can bring that to Lautoka, I mean, yeah, they're going to be a pretty good shout in this game. They will win if they bring that sort of performance to this game. So I kind of am leaning towards the Waratahs just because of that recent form. It's really hard to ignore it. And if it's not too wet, this could be quite an open running game. And even though the Ndrua are like that, I mean, I think with guys like Callaway and Suali'i, you know, that could suit the Waratahs as well. But on top of that, they're probably more likely to take control of the game than the Ndrua are as well. So they also have that maul going for them as well. The Waratahs do like to use their maul. They've used it effectively against better teams than the Ndrua. And the Ndrua, we have seen them struggle at maul time. In fact, when these teams first met in the first couple of rounds, it was a close game. The Waratahs won in Sydney, but they were able to close it out using that maul. They got a penalty try off the back of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if that becomes a decisive factor yet again in the rematch. So because of that, I'm actually gonna pick the Waratahs to take it in Lautoka, but it will be a close game. It'll be a one-score game. I'm gonna say Waratahs by 3 points. After that, Saturday afternoon, we have Moana versus the Brumbies in Pukekohe. According to this, also showers are predicted for this game in that region. A lot of wet weather around New Zealand at the moment. Probably will suit the Brumbies though, to be honest, but we'll see. Looking at the team sheets for Pacifica, one big change of note is that Julian Savia is back. He's had a long injury layoff. I don't believe we've seen him play at all this year. Possibly he did round one, but yeah, he goes straight into starting at 12. That pushes Tawala to the bench. A big absence though is that there is no Ari Savia this week. He is taking his mandatory All Blacks rest this week. It's quite a bit of shuffling in the pack though, in the front row, in the locks. Another interesting thing is that Fine Anisi finally gets a start. He goes to 14. I've been a really big fan of this guy since he came back. He's been very dangerous, so interested to see how he goes. And also, no Willie Haveli this week. Tavita Offa takes his place at number 15. Patrick Pellegrini is back in the driver's seat as well. Garden Bishop got the start last week. Didn't seem to do much for them, so good to see Pellegrini back there in my position. And for the Brumbies, not much different here. Bit of a shuffle in the front row, switching the props, the hookers and the loose head props around. Rest of the pack is completely unchanged from last week. Lineker is out, it seems. Ollie Sapsford has come in, and this game, I feel like it's probably going to play out pretty much the same as Moana versus the Blues did. Brumbies, they kind of play the same way as the Blues. They really like to try and bully you up front. They wear you down, and then they spread the ball when they got that really good back three. Any of them can score. All of them are dangerous, very sound defensively, but they might also just score with their forwards as well. If that's working for them, they'll stick to that. And with the chance of a bit of wet weather at this game, yeah, that could be how we see things unfold as well, sort of like the same as it happened in that Blues game. And yeah, Moana, they really found it hard to get a lot of purchase up front against those big Blues forwards. You got a lot of really big forwards in the Brumbies as well. So, and yeah, with no Adi Sevilla as well, that is a bit of a blow for Moana. They have had those reinforcements come into the back line, but really when you're going up against the Brumbies, you need to be able to compete up front. So yeah, the changes they've made this week probably not going to be helping them a lot. And even though they're at home, Moana, even though they've been flying high sort of recently, I'm going to go with the Brumbies. And depending on how wet it is, if it's not too wet, I reckon Brumbies probably take it by 10 points or more. If it is a bit wet though, well, yeah, I'll stay Brumbies by 10. After that, Saturday night, we have the Chiefs versus the Highlanders at FMG Stadium in Hamilton. Home game for the Chiefs. Also a good chance of some wet weather for this game as well. Team sheets big news is that Anton Leonard-Brown, he is finally back after a long layup with his injury. He is only returning to the bench though. Other than that, in the starting lineup, bit of shuffling going around. Front rows have sort of swapped out, but the Chiefs, they rotate them quite regularly anyway. Nothing drastic happening there. Luke Jacobson, he's gone back to the 8 slot. Simon Parker is out. Interestingly, D-Mac, he has come back to starting in the 10 slot. Did start against 15 against the Tars when he had that horror game in that huge boilover in Sydney as well. Gideon Rampling's gone. Rona is starting again. For the Highlanders, really not a lot has changed at all. Mitch Dunshea is back. Tanielo Talia's gone from the 23 completely because he got injured. Jonah Lowe joins the bench. Suwana Vakena is back, going to the bench though as well. And yeah, as for how this game's going to play out, I mean, I think the Chiefs, they're really going to be smarting after that huge upset against the Waratahs. I mean, yeah, that game that D-Mac had, it was so horrible. And yeah, I think the Chiefs, they're really going to be getting whipped to really step things up. And look, the Highlanders, I like the Highlanders, but they're not on the level of the other teams this year. If it is wet as well, I mean, we've seen the Chiefs actually struggle in the wet. Remember that upset in Fiji against the Endure, but it's not like the Highlanders play in the wet as well, being at home in that closed-in stadium. Really, really hard to go past the Chiefs at home, who will be desperately wanting to bounce back and steal that top spot back from the Crusaders. So even if it rains, I'm going to give it to the Chiefs by 10 points. And lastly, Saturday night, we have the Western Force against the Hurricanes. This game will be in Perth. It quite possibly might be the only game we have all week where conditions are dry and good. And looking at these lineups, we'll start with the Hurricanes because there's some big changes here. We have Billy Proctor finally returning. I believe this will be his first game of the year. He goes straight to the bench. Alongside him as well, Riley Higgins, the young prospect, also in the midfield. He is back, also on the bench. Finally, we see Ruben Love actually get the start at 10. Riley Hohepa is gone completely from the 23. So yeah, some serious changes in the back line here for the Canes. Kenny Naholo's actually gone. I can't remember if he got injured or not, but he is gone from the 23 completely. So Whinianga Nofo gets to take that spot. Other than that, not a lot has changed. Braden Ayose has gone to the bench. Shields gets the start. And for the Force, they are virtually unchanged. I mean, they just came off the bye, but they pretty much have the same team that they played against the Highlanders before that. Only change really is that Bailey Kunzel is back. Not sure if this is the first game he's played all year, but he has been out for quite a while. And he goes straight to the wing, to the number 11 slot. And as for how this game is going to go, I mean, like I said, the Force, they are fresh off a bye and a big win over the Highlanders, so they should really be prepared for this game. But even so, and even though the Force have been quite good at home this year, I'm thinking the Hurricanes should still be too much for them. Like, the Canes have struggled a lot this year, but they're still a very dangerous team in good conditions. They can put on a lot of points. And at this point as well, they are very desperate. They are low on the table. They will be targeting this game 4 or 5 points for a bonus point win. So yeah, they are gonna bring everything. They got a lot of power, firepower in this back line, especially coming off the bench, so they can bring it home late if they really have to. Also love going to 10 as well. I mean, we haven't seen a huge amount of love at 10 this year, but look, he's got to be better than Riley Hohepa, right? So yeah, I'm really going to back the Canes to come out firing and to just throw it all at the Force and try and score a lot of tries to secure that bonus point, because they just have to. They really have to. And because of that, I'm going to say the Canes take it down by probably about 20 points. Anyway guys, that'll do it from me. Sorry the videos are late this week. We've had a big storm here in Northland. My power has been out. It's still out right now. I'm doing this from a generator. We've got trees down on the property, so that's kind of slowed the process down, but I hope you are all safe out there. I hope you really enjoy the games this week. I will be bringing out the best picks video as well if you are playing Fantasy Super Rugby, so hang out for that one, and I will see you there.